What's up, everybody? Welcome to the new episode of Future Now. Today we're talking all about Capital One Bank and GoHealth Urgent Care. I'm just kidding. We're talking about the rise and fall of Blockbuster.
Did you catch that? My price still going up like NASDAQ. We send shots, make them duck like Affleck. All this fake news, can we bring the facts back? Never backtrack, still on the up and up. And nobody catching up to us. Every time we double down, then we double up. So if we keep winning, can you really call it luck?
So when I grew up in this town as a kid, I used to come to this place all the time. And no, it wasn't an urgent care. No, it wasn't a Capital One Bank. It was a Blockbuster Video. What is Blockbuster Video? If you were born before, I don't know, the 80s, you probably experienced this amazing entertainment thing that was Blockbuster. It became the thing to do on nights and weekends with your family and your friends. You just went to Blockbuster. You got a video, you walked through the aisles, you figured out what you were gonna do. You got 2 videos, you got 5 videos, you watched half of one, you watched all of 3, who the hell knows what you did. But the beauty is that you had a place to go and figure out what you were gonna do. It was like you were planning for the week with your videos. So what was the main difference between Blockbuster Video and your typical video rental store? It was the amount of titles that they had. Most video rental stores had only around 100 titles to select from. Blockbuster Video came out and had like 10,000 titles under one roof. And this was the main difference for this video store to take off to the moon. All right, so you know we had to relocate right next door to this former Blockbuster Video in front of a Sabre sign because Sabre has signs basically at every corner of this intersection. Not a problem, not bragging, just excited that we're still doing well in this crazy COVID times. Blockbuster Video started in 1984 in Dallas, Texas by a man by the name of David Cook. Who was David Cook? He was a software engineer in the oil field that actually was asked to do research by a buddy of his on video rental businesses. What David soon realized after doing this research was that video rental businesses could potentially grow to at least somewhere around 1,500 units across the US. What did David do? Started Blockbuster Video, which ultimately became the most successful video chain rental company in the world. So at its peak in the late 90s, Blockbuster had over 9,000 locations. Now remember, when Cook started the company, he was thinking he can get it to somewhere around 1,500 locations. But how did they get to the 9,000? So in 1987, David Cook went out and looked for investors to get involved in Blockbuster so that they could scale this thing as fast and furiously as possible. He built out a $6 million distribution center, which allowed them to have as many SKUs and titles in each store so they can get open fast. Who did he bring in? He brought in Wayne Huizenga from Waste Management to ultimately lead the $18 million investment into the company. Wayne Huizenga and David Cook, however, did not mix very well. They decided to split, and Wayne Huizenga took over and grew the company fast and furious. They were opening 1 store a day. So this top-of-the-line distribution center allowed Blockbuster to, when they opened a store, they could actually determine what titles, what movies they wanted to hold in each store based on the surrounding demographics of the area of the store. Now that's very, very interesting because we do that through AI intelligence and a lot of the other software products that we use at Sabre that has become so common today to help retailers ultimately land in the best market to service their target audience. Back when Blockbuster was doing this, this was very cutting edge and early on, but it ultimately allowed them to grow to where they were and take out a lot of the other independent video rental stores. As technology started to advance and cable companies started to offer on-demand service straight to your television, Huizenga got a little bit nervous about the future of Blockbuster Video and sold the company for $8 billion in 1994 to Viacom. The company was worth half that in value 2 years later. The fact that they partnered up with Enron and was able to focus on streaming for a little bit of time, they decided to back off that and focus again on their physical store growth, which led to the ultimate demise for the company. In its prime, Blockbuster had a banner year of $800 million in late charges in 1 year alone. those same late charges would ultimately lead to the demise of Blockbuster Video. The founder of Netflix decided after receiving a $40 late charge at Blockbuster that he was going to set out to start something new, cutting edge, and use technology in a different way than Blockbuster. He invented Netflix in 1997. Something that we could all learn from today is how you're supposed to keep up, evolve, and pivot as the world changes. COVID is a crazy example of that, and companies that do not understand the new world in a post-COVID environment and how to operate and how to pivot their company and their skill sets are going to be in trouble, even if they were at the top of their game pre-COVID. Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million in 2000. Think about what would have happened if Blockbuster didn't solely focus on their brick and mortar store growth. So Netflix, which started out as a mail order DVD company that would send options to your house that you could watch and send back whenever you were ready to send them back, ultimately pivoted to a streaming platform that we know and love today. Blockbuster followed their lead and went into that business and also removed their late fees, which was too little too late. Netflix had a jump on them, other streaming platforms did the same, and ultimately the fact that Blockbuster didn't see into the future earlier led to their demise. So in 2009, as things were coming along for Netflix, they grossed $116 million, while Blockbuster lost $518 million in the same year. With over 9,000 stores at their peak, Blockbuster ultimately was down to one franchise, and still is today, in Bend, Oregon. I just read recently, actually, that you could go on Airbnb and actually have an overnight stay at the Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon, and I would love to do that. Probably not going to, but would love to, because I love nostalgic things, especially when they're revolving around retail real estate and the life that I live. Now, what's the lesson that we've all learned here, folks? The reality is that most really great innovative concepts have an expiration date. Nothing tremendous lasts forever, and if you don't evolve and pivot and understand what's ahead of you, you can go out of business overnight. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode.
It's fake news, can we bring the facts back? Never backtrack, still on the up and up. And nobody catching up to us. Every time we double down, then we double up.